Affectionately knew Lionel as Choo-Choo. He wore big number 6, which is one of the retired numbers hanging up on the ceiling. And Lionel, welcome to Comet Corner. Glad you could make it.
Thanks for having me, Bob.
It's been a while since we've had a chance to talk. I see you once in a while, and there's an awful lot of things that have happened to Lionel Repka since the days he retired that number 6 and finished here. And you kind of had a double career with the Komets. You started with the K's, had some good years, and then decided that you were going to be a donut king and headed back to Seattle, didn't you?
That's right.
And at that point, of course, everything looked pretty good back in Seattle, which was your general home area. With Boeing going, everything was going along great, and then Boeing folded. That was kind of the end of the donut empire, wasn't it?
Correct. All I got was the whole.
But at that point, thank goodness for the Komets, Lionel came back to Fort Wayne and was greeted very heartily when he got back, and had a heck of a career with the Fort Wayne Komets. And in fact, you were the first of the Komets to ever win the Governor's Trophy as the best defenseman in the league, for which we should say congratulations.
Thank you.
You had yourself a good career here. And when it all got started, where was home for you originally?
Edmonton, Alberta.
And beyond the Edmonton, Alberta days, you played, I believe, what, in the Western Hockey League as well?
That's right. I turned pro with Detroit, and I played with Edmonton Flyers. Bud Foyle was our coach. Al Arbor was my defense partner. Glenn Hall was in the nets. That was in '54. And then they changed the franchise to Seattle. So I was there for 3 seasons in Seattle.
In Seattle, and that was in the old Western Hockey League, which at that time was sort of considered somewhat of a parallel or almost equal to the National Hockey League, except you played all your games on the West Coast.
Well, there were 6 teams in the National League then.
And you had 6 in the Western League, I guess, didn't you? How the heck did you ever get to Fort Wayne, Lionel?
Well, I had a shoulder injury, and I was out for about 2.5 months, and this league kept on going, and Ken Elliott knew Keith Allen, who was our coach in Seattle, and he also knew Emil Francis. Emil was our goaltender then.
All right.
And I came here just to play the last month of the year, 1959, and Ken Elliott told me the most beautiful words in the world. I don't know if he meant it or not, but he said, "There's a job here whenever you want it." It brought tears to my eyes. I couldn't believe it.
And you took the job too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, and I came back the next fall with Helen and played here, and then the next year our son was born, our oldest one, Ron. So this was 35 years ago, and gee, we just made this our home. We had 2 sons, and we're just thrilled to be here.
Well, I know you were, of course, one of the integral parts of a Comet machine that did some Turner Cup work. And in fact, the first Turner Cup we ever won was while you were playing with us. Eddie DeLong was still playing at that time, what, 62, 63?
Yeah, we won 2. I was on 2 cups.
64, 65, we came back and won it again. And of course, the funny part, when we look back to see who had won our Turner Cups, the first goaltenders that ever won, Chuck Adams won the first, Adamson won the first 2 with us.
It surprised me, Chuck, when this going got tough, and nervous, he reacted the same as Glenn Hall did. When the big games, he'd throw up before the game. He was that nervous. And whatever he did, we knew Charlie was going to have a great game, and he did.
And the funny part of it is, back when everybody was still eating baked potatoes, steak, and toast, Charlie was eating pasta, and everybody said, "Geez, what's wrong with you?" But it turned out he was way ahead of his time, wasn't he?
That's right. I think you remember, Bob, I think the greatest team we had here was the one when we didn't win the Cup that year, and that was when Randall Zania was in the league.
59-60 was an incredible year. And a fellow by the name of Elliot Chorley beat us when playing with St. Paul. He won, he got the winning goal in 3 out of 4 games?
2 minutes short of 2 full games.
That's right, yeah. That was the big game of all time, 118 minutes and 30 seconds of overtime play. And, of course, Freddie Sherrill, who later became famous as coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, coached that St. Paul team. So.
Correct. Yeah, it's amazing. You know, all the boys, well, Lenny and Eddie, and we still, the one we talk about is the one we lost. And that's right.
Because that's the one we really should have won, really.
Yeah.
We set a record at that time. I think we had in a 68-game season, we won 50, lost 16, and tied 2, which, aside from an old Cincinnati team, was the best record in win percentage of any team in the I. So you've been privy to a lot of exceptional years. And I know you did, as you say, settle down here, raised your family here, and of course, once you got out of the game, became extremely successful insurance executive, and I know you worked hard at it, and you've been extremely successful.
Well, I've been very fortunate. The people here have been very, very kind, and I just thrilled to what happened.
I can remember when Lionel was beginning to bone up for this particular situation, his wife, I think, had made him a set of blinders, and now when we'd come back off the road, Lionel would study, and he studied book after book after book, and at that point, when it was time to go to sleep, the lights were on in the bed, you'd put the blinders on, lay down, hit the pillow, and you were gone.
You guys have memory.
Oh yeah, lots of good, so many good times to go along with it, Lionel. And I would imagine, as many of the other old timers, as it all turned out within your lifetime and your family and your home, you wouldn't change a thing, would you?
Oh, you're completely right. I can't tell you enough about Fort Wayne, and you know how it is, how we all feel about Fort Wayne.
I think one of the very important things is the fact that you had yourself a heck of a health bout a couple of years ago, and we're in very dire straits health-wise. Right now, you look exceptionally healthy. How are you feeling?
Well, feeling great, thank you. Yeah, I had lymphoma cancer 5.5 years ago, and I've been very fortunate.
Lots of nip and tuck stuff, wasn't it? In fact, as I look back on some of the other associates and good friends, we've been kind of afflicted. I mean, Johnny Goodwin ended up with a form of cancer, and also, of course, Jerry Randall, one of our goaltenders, has had some dire times, but we've all survived and we've all stayed strong.
That's right.
You still skate much, Lionel, or do you skate at all?
Well, Helen got me a pair of rollerblades 2 years ago, so now I'm rollerblading.
No kidding.
Yeah. We went to Chicago last summer, but in May, and I went all along the shore lines, and I love it. And yeah, we live right in an area which is very good for skiing, so that helps me.
Well, that's incredible. I have a lot of favorite stories about Lionel, and of course, one of the stories that happened years ago, and I'm not sure the exact amounts of money, but Lionel and Ken Elliott were negotiating one year for a contract, and Lionel was holding out, and Ken was holding out, and they seesawed back and forth, and finally they got to the table, and you ended up pretty close, but you didn't quite have what you wanted. And was that the time when Ken said, Lionel, let's flip for the difference?
Probably was, but I think we were missing over $2 a week or something. But he won.
Did he win? I thought you won that time.
No, he said, heads I win, tails you lose.
And it was in the air before you could change it. You see what's happening to hockey today. Did you ever think, when you played in Fort Wayne, that hockey would ever come to this level in terms of crowd and intensity?
You know, it's great. The Frankies, I mean, you hear it over and over again, but it's amazing what has transpired. And you've been Bob, I hope you understand how great you were to the team and to the success and the Komets over the years.
Well, we've had a lot of fun, and of course it's people like you and Lenny and the present-day players that have made it that kind of fun, and if you hadn't been good enough to perpetuate the sport, we wouldn't have it here. So you guys were kind of the building blocks of what we have today.
Well, you've kept the building going, Bob. I just amazed at how strong you are and how you can take all these traveling.
Well, I take a lesson from you. See, you haven't aged at all. You still got you got everything going. You got your looks, your hair, and the whole thing. And I figured, well, by golly, if Lionel can do it, so can I. And folks, Lionel also is a left-hand golfer, and you got to watch it if you ever get on a golf course. How's your golf game going?
I played last week, and I still get my hack attacks.
I guess we all do here and there along the line. But other than that, I know I look forward to having a chance to talk with you. And we had Bobby Rivard on a couple of weeks ago, one of your old buddies, and of course Jumbo Goodwin, and we've
Ferguson
had Fergie we had on, and way back when we had Stubby Dubcheck. So that's all part of the memory crew. If you had to do it all over again, would you change anything?
I wouldn't. I wish we would have got a little more money, but that's maybe about the only thing. I wish I would have got another $5 a week more.
That would have been the difference. Think of what's happening today. Isn't that incredible, the kinds of money, even at the minor league level, that's coming into the game? But I guess that's the way the world has gone.
Yeah.
But I know we talked to Dennis Ball when Lenny was inducted into the Manitoba Hockey Hall of Fame. And I said to Dennis, Dennis, what do you think would have happened to Lenny if he'd have been born today? And Dennis started to laugh, and he said he'd have been a multimillionaire.
Correct. Lenny, that's why we had the great teams.
Yeah.
Lenny, Reggie, Primo, Rivard were so strong down center. I think that's where it starts.
And I think a lot of people do not give enough credit to the talent in the International Hockey League many years ago. There was incredible talent here. It had a bad rap in some respects because it was not part of a National Hockey League organization, but there were some great hockey players in this league.
But you know, I've noticed the hockey here in this league has really improved the past 5 years. Don't you think so?
Oh, it's incredible. And not only that, but you have to have a new set of luggage every year. You wear it out traveling. Well, you gave us an awful lot of thrills, and you were at the top of your class when you played your game, and your number's hanging up there, and that tells a lot of people you did a good job, a great job, or it wouldn't be there, and I'm proud that mine's hanging with it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, we're together there, and I'm very proud and honored to be with the rest of you.
Well, I'm pleased you had a chance to come over tonight. I know you got some other things that you want to do as well, and again, I guess it's kind of hockey-related, huh?
Well, thanks, Bob, for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you coming over. Of course, Lionel Repka, number 6, everybody knew him as Choo-Choo, and he had special fan music rate, really, that Jack Lowe's always used to play for him. You thrilled a lot of folks, and I think you'll always be in the hearts of Fort Wayne hockey fans.
Oh, thanks again.
Appreciate it.